today we're taking this 1997 Mazda Miata and turning it from this into this. We're gonna show you guys every step we took to build this legendary car. Welcome to Donut.
So we're gonna turn a Miata into a lowrider. And there's only one place to start. We gotta get this puppy cut, AKA install hydraulics.
What up, John?
What up, man? What's good? You ready?
I'm ready. Do you think you can turn this thing from a zero to a hero?
Mild to wild?
There you go. That's what we need on this baby.
Let's make her bounce.
All right, so how exactly are we gonna make this puppy bounce? Well, these are the basic components of a hydraulic system that we'll be installing. Now, let's get into it. First up, we got our switches. Our switches is what you be hitting to look fly as hell, but most importantly, they operate and control the solenoids. Now, what do our solenoids do? Our solenoids send battery voltage throughout the hydraulic system. Now, typically you have multiple batteries. Now, the battery voltage will then operate and turn on the pumps. The pumps will then send hydraulic fluid throughout the lines, through the hydraulic system, all the way into your cylinders. Now, your cylinders is the most important part. These cylinders are what we use instead of struts, and they're basically either gonna, once filled with hydraulic fluid, will go upwards or downwards in order to make that vehicle bounce up and down. All right, so this is simple in theory. However, we have two major problems that we've come across. One, there is no plug and play kit for a Miata. And two, me and Jim Bob have never installed anything of these sorts in a vehicle. There's a lot that can go wrong installing any of these components, so that's why we need to enlist the help of John. John is an OG based out of Long Beach, and he works out of his garage. So you best believe we're gonna get the real lowrider experience.
Go off the trunk?
Yeah.
See what we got?
Do you have any concerns with the Miata trunk being a little bit smaller than your average lowrider?
Yeah, usually we got a 4x6 space to work with. Here we got a 3 foot by 2 foot space. So we're losing a lot of space. Well, we could relocate that battery.
Got it.
I'm not
Will you
worried
still
about
hook that battery up? Have it hooked
Yes,
up?
that one needs to be hooked up to the
So
front.
that'll just be for the car?
Yes.
And then this one will just be for the hydraulics?
Yes.
Wow, that's a lot
So
of power.
you want it separate from your system. You don't want nothing to do with the hydraulics to the system.
Okay.
So today, we're aiming to get all the stock pieces out of the way. We'll move all the junk in the trunk to make room for our hydraulic pumps, as well as removing the stock suspension to make room for our hydraulic cylinders. Once we're all done with that, we'll move on to assembling and hopefully installing the pumps in the trunk before the day is done.
All right, so we're just taking the wheels off. Got to step on the brake to get the front wheels off, obviously. John, you're already taking the strut out.
Struts are out.
Jimmy is working on taking off all 3 bolts to drop the coilover.
There we go. John, what are you tossing on there?
So we're trying to check out the measurement for the strokes that we have to fab up. Right here on my travel, I have no more than 5 inches. But you got to take in mind, minus your fitting.
Right.
So you have your fitting at the top of it.
So we're gonna go 4.
So if we go 4 on the inside, we should be good.
And then are we gonna still use the stock spring or?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll modify this to put back in there to
nice.
hold this spring.
So what John's up to right now is he's cutting a hole in the top of our strut top so that he can have our cylinder tube for the strut, for the new strut, give it a go through to the top. He's got to make that clearance so we can get higher than we need to. We need to be able to hop. It's looking pretty good.
In the back side, we can make them go in the trunk more.
We have more space back here. We don't have to worry about the hood.
My plan is so you could turn and do 3 wheels. I would like 1 wheel to come off the ground, please.
That'd be actually very sick.
That's what we want. So we've taken out most of the stock stuff. What's our next step right now?
I think we should build those 2 pumps.
Yep.
So we could set them in there to know what we're playing with.
Cool.
In an age of dull f***ing wheels, some geniuses in a tire shop decided enough was enough. And so, Mother's Polished emerged, born from a single can of mag and aluminum polish. Designed to make dull aluminum shinier than a disco ball, it quickly dominated car shows and swap meets. By the 80s, Mothers were rock stars, pushing product up and down the SoCal coast out of the back of a van. Guys, we need a bigger van. Soon, they expanded their products, becoming the one-stop shop for every car need under the sun. By the 90s, Mothers was a household name, but they wanted more. By the 2000s, Mothers had expanded to over 100 different products. Mothers wanted the whole vehicle to look like $1 million. Hey, your car, that's clean. Hey, that's a pretty clean car you got. Those are some clean cars. Today, Mothers is a leading name in the automotive care world. From humble beginnings in the back of a van to a showstopper at SEMA, Mothers is synonymous with excellence and innovation.
If you want your car to shine like new, use something with a trusted history. Use Mothers. To learn more, click the link below.
As I'm building, you're building. Well, you gotta do this one.
Oh, I'm down.
For shipping reasons, they come with little nuts on the bottom just to keep them in play because they're all spring loaded. So this is the electric component in there.
I got it.
So that's what it looks like.
Oh.
See, these are the screws you're gonna take off on the bottom. That's gonna pop off. So where the oil is, and this is where you want it, towards the tops. Just so you know the way it goes. And you don't want them tight, just put them hand tight and then you snug them with the wrench and you're in the game. You just set it down there. You get the pins in there.
There we go. Oh.
And you just find the homes right there.
There we go.
Your pump's built, oil squirting out. It'll go into whatever dumps are set up here. The return will always be closest to the edge. So you see this is 3 fingers, this is 2 fingers. This will be your slow down valve. It'll be posted here with the fitting. We'll set it in there. It will look just like that and then we'll put the T on it. So we build everything up. So we'll start Teflon, we'll put all the fittings together, hand tight with Teflon on them. The returns have to go on first because they turn and they interfere. If you have that fitting on first, it won't go.
Should we start with the return then?
If we don't put enough Teflon or you don't put it on right or you do it backwards, then you'll have a leak. Put that onto your return side.
Oh, yeah. This is what I'm talking about.
This pump is pretty much built, but this will work for us to do our fabrication now.
This is a whole new world of car stuff that I've never learned about. Yeah, I'm into it. All right, so me and John have come up with a plan of how we're going to set up our trunk. We're gonna have our hydraulic pumps here on each side, and then we're gonna have our 3 batteries here in the middle. Lowriding is all about having a uniform setup. You want the trunk to look super clean. So when you pull up to the show, people are like, yo, let's see the setup, pop the trunk, looks super nice and uniform. The only problem is we gotta move this OEM battery up to the front here. Shouldn't be too hard. Don't need that anymore.
Now that Jimmy's gotten that battery and the old tray out of the way, so John kind of showed us what he was doing with the tops of the struts. Now he's finishing out the rest for the rears. So you're gonna drill straight into the body for this.
I'm gonna avert my eyes. I can't look. All right, so John's about to finish up drilling out our locations for our hydraulic pumps, and he's gonna put in our battery tray, and then we just gotta start throwing stuff in there. All right, so we got our last hydraulic pump ready to go. All right.
You want me to go down there?
Yeah.
Here, it's already set up.
Can you push it upwards a little bit more? Like, or, yeah, right there.
Yep. You got this, Steph. Let's go.
It's in, and you should have wiggle room with that.
They look pretty identical. It looks really nice just looking at it right now.
We completed our task list for the day. All the stock parts we don't need have been removed, our pumps have been installed in the trunk, and John started on fabricating the cylinders using our stock coilovers. Things are looking pretty good.
All right, so we're back today. John went ahead and fabbed up the rest of these cylinders. He actually already has one in, and next thing that we're gonna do is gonna go ahead and drop it just to check out where the ride height is sitting at. A great day today would honestly be getting all the cylinders in, the lines hooked up, and pressure in the tanks.
Let's get cooking. Look at how low we dropped it. And we still have a lot of room still available up here.
I think that's the most important part. Like John was saying, he's seen dudes that they will not leave a good amount of space up here and then boom, right through the hood.
Definitely don't want that.
So this is great. This is looking great. I'm super stoked and very content with this.
So that cylinder should be going through that hole if it's all measured right.
Oh, nice.
There we go. Whoa.
This is crazy.
Is that low
Look
enough
at this
for you up there or no?
Yeah.
This is great.
Oh
I
man.
don't think you could get no lower than that.
Yeah, that's good. And it's only gonna look better once we get the wheels on there.
Oh, absolutely, with the wheels on that bad boy. Oof. I feel like every time something gets done, I get more excited to see the finished result.
I'm so ready. I can't wait. I think this is the perfect embodiment of me going through my lowrider path.
I love that for you.
So we got the fronts on. John's already starting on getting the oil lines mocked up. Now we're gonna give him a hand with that. All right, so right now I'm just taking off these fender guards in our wheel well because we need to find a way how we're gonna run our oil lines from the trunk all the way to the front. Now on a Miata, we really don't have that much space to work with, so we gotta use every part of the car. All right, so we got our 3/8 hose right here, right up at the front. We're about to hook it up. Just gotta lead it back to the rear. John's already done that. So we're pretty close to hooking this up and actually putting some oil into the lines. We're having an issue with our oil line right here, hooking up to our cylinder. We got this intake tube in the way, which is causing some clearance issues, but I have a trick. You can actually get rid of this intake pipe and the Miata should run just fine. John might know hydraulics, but I know Miatas. All right, so getting the oil line on. All right, so John's just cutting up more of our springs for the rear. We're gonna be having this thing on the floor by dinner time.
Can't even tell where the hoses are.
You really can.
It'll look cleaner if I just hide the hose behind. This hose will tuck it.
Tuck it a little bit further in the back, like
so
you
we
were
just
saying.
roll it like this and it's all tucked in. So we'll drill this to the frame,
Oh, okay.
to the car,
Uh-huh.
and then we'll weld it to the rack here.
Okay, that's sick. If for whatever reason, at some point in the future, we want to remove this, we could just remove it all in one piece
Yep.
then. I'm so stoked for you because this is something that I grew up with and I love lowrider culture and it's I love sharing things that I love with others.
I can't wait to just be cruising.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm gonna see you making that turn, a
Yeah.
little turn and 3-wheel. I'm like, oh my God, Jimmy, go Jimmy.
All right, so me and John are just finishing up the first part of our bracket system that will house our 3 big ass batteries. This is basically gonna power our whole suspension. We just have to test mount it, then we're gonna take it off, paint it real quick so it looks really nice, and then we're gonna be jumping in no time. All right, I'm on.
Here, spin it.
You ready?
Yep. More. Yep.
Go.
How's it looking there?
It looks good and sturdy. Whoa.
John's nephew, Mark, is so gracious enough that he's gonna give us a nice little ride along. We're gonna get to feel what having real swag looks like.
What a real lowrider looks like.
Oh man! I feel like we're kids in a candy shop, dude.
So f***ing sick. Dude, Mark, thank you so much for taking us around the block. Now I'm inspired to put that much more effort into my Miata. All right, so John's finished up welding our battery tray. Now we just gotta paint it. Again, lowriding's all about the presentation, so I hope I do a very good job with this paint. Luckily, John's getting some cardboard right now. Hopefully we don't have any overspray. All right, this is looking good. Now we're gonna dump it down and we're gonna check our suspension if we need to adjust anything, make any slight tweaks. Can I look at it? Damn!
And then I could still take a little more off of it, but I need you to, with the rim, then we'll know. So I don't want to overcut them because you can't come back on.
So John just went ahead, ran all the wiring, pumps are back in, all hands are on deck, and we're gonna pressurize the system, make sure it holds, we don't got no oil leaks, and that's where we're at. You're good right there, buddy.
That is not going anywhere. So I think our next step now is we're gonna fill these pumps with oil and we're gonna see if all this Teflon tape really paid off. Now we're just gonna prime the system, check for leaks. More oil in there.
A
little more in there?
No, you're good because we have pressure in the hose now.
We just measured what the suspension is gonna look like. It looks like it'll clear since the sheet metal of the hood sits a little bit higher, but John was saying that because when you hit your switches, it will bounce. It leaves a little bit of risk that it will hit the hood. So to mitigate that, John is going to need a bit of more spring. If there's more spring, then the body of the vehicle sits a little bit higher and gives us some more play up top. All right, so we accomplished our goal of the day. All 4 cylinders are in, and that thing is to the flow. Now, we did run into a little issue with the front cylinders, but that's cool. John's gonna go ahead and rework those springs just so we're not busting through no hoods.
So we're gonna leave him to it.
We replaced the coils in the front so it won't lay so low so cylinders won't go through the hood. And then now we're hooking up all the electrical and wires from under the seat, wire up the solenoids, finish up the trunk, install the batteries here, 31 series grays. Put all the trunk will be all complete and just install the switches on the panel and under the dash and you'll be good. So right now I'm getting ready to wire up the switches, just 4 switches. Front and back, side to side. And then these will be the control for the Miata. Everything will be mounted under the dash. You'll be ready to play with it in a couple hours. Just prepping them in, the final little touch up. That's a full-blown switch panel right there. We're good, the car is hitting good. We'll test it a couple more times. When we take it to that street, I'm gonna show you how to do 3 wheels because it's got it. See how it's all the way up like that? You just drop this whole side and then I'm gonna hit the front up as I turn and it's gonna go on 3. I think that this would bring Jimmy into, this is something he could pull up to any crowd and they're gonna trip out on him.
That's it for the hydraulics. Now, for the most time-consuming part of the process, the paint.
Today, we're here in the City of Industry at the Color Studio, and that's with the K.
Yeah, this is Mark and Jacqueline's studio. They've been doing this for a long time. They're a husband and wife duo. Mark does all the bodywork and paint, and Jacqueline does all the little fine details that you see on a lowrider. Kind of like on this Cadillac right here. So have you ever seen anything like that on a car?
I have never seen that, but that is literally my favorite thing ever.
It's pretty sick. Now, work like this, it takes some time. It's gonna take us about 2 weeks to get our Miata painted, and I don't think there's a lot we can really do. Do you know anything about paint? Yeah, so I think we better let the artist get to work.
Just prep day, sand it all, wash the car down, take whatever's easiest to take off, and whatever will get in the way of kind of paint, and wash it again. And today we're just, we're gonna try to tape up all the patterns. Right now we have just some kind of like raw measuring going down. We're just gonna see what the mind comes up with today. I really pride myself on this part. If this is what sets me aside from every other painter, or most of them at least, good. Like this is the kind of foreground of everything. It'll make everything else that I do a little bit easier. I think we have about 6 hours into masking. I want to say we've hit the halfway mark. There's not too many hours of spraying. It's a lot of hours of tape and more tape. Right now I'm working on transferring all the shapes and designs that are happening onto the top, making them translate onto the sides of the car. There's not too much left to tape, but hopefully by midnight we'll be ready to actually put some kind of color on it.
All right, so it's been 2 days since the Miata was last dropped off. It's obviously been getting taken care of really well.
Yeah, if everything goes well today, we'll be done with the colors.
I love the look of it already. It's not even completed, and I'm already so excited about this. Tell me where this style and the inspiration came from for this.
Shoot, everything 90s. There's a couple painters still in the 90s that were using older techniques that I like to use. Textures, kind of more like abstract painting. But everything was very simplified. It was monochromatic. I'm trying to keep it era correct. I want you guys to hit every single part of the 90s low riding aspect. The colors are gonna be real subtle, but they're still gonna pop. Just to have you guys rolling in style, I keep saying you guys are gonna get asked like, what garage did you pull this out of?
Remember like the color studio,
Yeah,
that's where. I love the idea of keeping it era correct. All right, Mark, so you're about to start spraying. Tell us what the process is like.
So we're gonna start from the centers. Usually I like to work from the inside out. That's kind of how we mask everything up. We try to mask it as easy as possible. That way you could just peel back tape, spray the next fade, and we'll just work out this way, and then we'll end off with the sides tonight.
You let it dry a little and then you move on? Okay.
We wanna let it dry a little bit just so that it doesn't peel any paint with it. We don't get no smudge over it or anything like that. This is where patience is kind of like key.
Roughly how long do you think it would take to like dry a little until you're ready to peel off the next layer?
This paint dries super fast. It'll be dry to the touch within like probably 5 minutes.
Whoa,
Yeah.
What the hell? Okay, I
Yeah.
thought we were gonna literally watch paint dry here.
No. It's so chemical based that it'll evaporate real fast. And then we're gonna be going back and forth too. I'm gonna go from the front to the back, from the front to the back. So by the time I hit the back, this will be dry and vice versa.
You're really out here working smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you get to it, cause yeah, what the hell are we doing just standing here and not actually being productive? All right, Jacqueline, we see you got some real nice flowers going on over here. So what is it that you're doing right now?
I'm basically like tracing over what I'm gonna do on either side of it. Typically what I do is I'll figure out where I wanna put it on a car and I transfer it to this paper when I size it up to the actual physical surface. And since this is just like gonna be based on symmetry, I have to line it up on both sides of the car handles. But yeah, that's basically the steps. The hardest part is actually painting. Like, this is the easy work.
Once you start getting it on the car, like how much do you roughly estimate this will take you?
We're looking at maybe like 12 hours of painting.
Damn.
But automotive paint, especially the type that I'm using, is very like thin. So I have to do a ton of layers, but I have to also do it nice enough that when Mark clears over it, there's not gonna be like an obvious lift in the paint. So that's why it like takes so long, because I have to like lay it on there, let it dry for a little bit, and then do another layer. I'm excited about this because I've never painted these flowers before. So there's gonna be cherry blossoms on the car.
That is actually so cute because it's JDM. I love that. So thank you so much, Jacqueline, explaining this process, because you made it sound very simple, but looking at it, I'm like, I don't think it is. I'll let you get back to it. You're obviously working hard. All right, y'all, so Mark has done an absolutely phenomenal job thus far. I mean, this thing looks sick. And if this is what it looks like now, I cannot wait to see what it's gonna look like later.
So we're reaching the last fade of this paint job. Loving the way it's coming out. After this, we're gonna take off all the tape. We'll throw a light coat of flake over the whole car just so it has a little bit more of a pop. Then it's off to murals tomorrow.
All right, y'all, we're back here today, and it is Jackie's day, and she's gone ahead, laid it all out in the fashion that she thinks it'd look best. I trust her and her artistic opinion. I think it's time for me to shut up and let you do what you gotta do, man. All right, so first layer is done on this side and the other side. What's the next step from here, Jackie?
So now I'm gonna get very detailed. I'm gonna start quote unquote rendering. So the flowers will look more realistic, the leaves will look more realistic. I'm gonna do a couple of layers. I'm thinking maybe like 5 to 6 layers to cover everything. And we should be good after that, honestly.
What the hell? That looks really good. Like the little stems give it so much more like dimension and like depth. These look legit real, bro.
I feel like the colors go really well with everything too. So.
No, it looks super dope, dude. Y'all have freaking crushed it. I think it's safe to say that we're all kind of tired, so why don't we take a break for the weekend, hit this back up on Monday so I can pick it up.
Yup.
How's that sounding?
That sounds good.
So because Mark is such a beast, he went ahead and applied the first coat of clear over this weekend. Now let's get back to the shop and see what's next.
So we got the first coat of clear on. I really love the way that this thing is coming out. Those colors popped, all those kind of little subtle details that we put in there, they popped out. So today what we're gonna do is we're just gonna sand it all down again, keep on masking and throw another coat of clear on it and it'll be ready to go. I'm sending out the one run that I got in the clear coat. So when you put on clear coat a little too heavy, it's a really heavy material. It runs. It'll start dripping. So right now I'm just trying to flatten them out as much as possible. So I just finished sanding this thing all over again. And now that we've knocked down all these patterns kind of nice and flat, gave it a little bird bath and it'll be ready for masking up and clear again. That's why we clean it so intensively the first time. The second time, it's almost in a controlled environment, so we don't have to get crazy with the wash. Like I said, I could wash it, but then I'd just be waiting for water to evaporate. So any kind of hand smudges that I get, that I've had on it from sanding, or the Windex will take care of it. You have to use Windex with ammonia, otherwise it won't take off any of your hand grease. We're gonna sign this car. We're gonna do it and hopefully I can get it first try. Just finished masking up the car for the next round of clear. In between coats, we wait for it to tack up. This car is small, so it doesn't take a really long time. We just threw the last coat of clear on the car. This thing looks like glass. All those colors really popped out. We'll let it sit for a couple days. So after this thing's all slapped together, detailed out, it'll be ready for Jimmy and Steph on Friday.
All right, so it's been about 2 weeks since we dropped the Miata off. I gotta be honest, I have no idea what this thing's gonna look like. Steph's been dropping hints of information here and there, but today, finally gonna see what this thing looks like after 2 weeks of being in the paint shop. We're pulling into the paint shop right now. Phil, do you see this? This looks incredible. This is awesome. Oh my, I didn't even notice this up here. Whoo! Everything is so well thought out. The gold? What? That's so sick. It's on the badges too?
We even signed it in gold.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I love that. Oh my gosh. I'm in love with it. This thing's so sick, Phil. It's so sick. These cherry blossoms are so sick.
Thank you.
Jackie, what was the inspiration for that?
So typically when I paint murals on lowriders, the customers always ask for roses. Oh, like maybe we can do something with a floral element that's more like Asian based as opposed to typical roses, Chicano culture.
Yeah, that's such a cool thought to it. The detailing is so cool too. Have you ever seen cherry blossoms on another lowrider?
No, I haven't. So you guys may be the first.
We're the first, right here. So once again, big thank you to Mark and Jacqueline over at Color Studio with a K. I'm stoked. This thing is so unique looking. I can't wait to take it cruising. But there's one thing that we're missing. Some wheels. All right, so we're here at Sandro's shop, Miranda's. He's pulled some strings and he's got us the quintessential lowrider wheels. These are some gold Dayton's 100 spoke. They're pretty sweet looking. Me being a big wheel guy, I'm very stoked to throw these on. What's the size on the wheel itself?
13-inch.
I think I'm very excited for how we actually have to mount these.
You gotta fabricate some stuff. Nothing's gonna bolt right on.
This is a one-of-one car, so we gotta think of some different solutions of how to mount stuff.
And with lowriders, it's kind of like a rite of passage to do a little bit of here and there.
That's what I've noticed. So one thing I've noticed about these is they do not have a 4x100 bolt pattern like a Miata. So how are we mounting these?
We're using the knockoffs. First, the back red piece goes on, then the wheel, and then the chrome knock.
That's a center lock adapter.
You got it, you got it.
Do you know how excited I am to be running center locks on a car? Finally, after all these years of collecting center lock wheels from around the world, I finally get to do this. I'm so excited.
On a Miata.
Yeah, on a Miata. I mean, this is a dream come true. Let's get going. Let's get them mounted up.
Let's do this.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All right, so while they're getting things set up, let's talk about these. Why we got two different colors, Steph?
All right, we got two different colors because the way center locks go on, when you brake, we don't want the center lock to start undoing itself while we're braking. So in this circumstance, the white ones will go on the left side and the reds will go on the right side.
It's kind of like a GT3 too, you know, they got different colors on each side.
I feel very fancy as if we're in a GT3, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty much a GT3.
Way better than actually.
All right, let's get them on.
putting on a spacer because it's hitting the caliper, just so it could clear it a little bit.
All right, so right now, Sandro is mounting the wheel. Next, he's gonna put the little spindle center lock cap. See next to him, he actually has a lead hammer to tap that in. And why is it a lead hammer or a lead mallet? That's because lead, when you hit it, it's actually supposed to not damage the metal. So it'll still do what you want from a hammer or mallet without damaging the stuff. And that's how you torque these, all right? That looks really f***ing good.
Popping the backs off. All right, so unlike the front, we got a little bit of a different brake setup back here, so we don't have to really modify anything. So I'm just gonna start throwing these guys on. All right, so we got these torqued on. Now it's time for the wheel. There we go. Oh, this is so cool. I wonder how much radiation poisoning I can get from this.
Lick it, maybe we can find out.
That's okay, it's okay, you're good. That's what they're for, that's what they're for.
Oh, all right. That looks like it's on there pretty tight.
It's on there pretty tight for now, but once we drop it, we'll hit it again for safety.
We should do a double check. All right, time to drop it down. I'm very excited to see if the fitment's gonna be on this.
Oh, damn.
Oh.
This looks so good, dude.
We completed the look. Y'all, we did it. We built a Lowrider Miata. Like, this is so cool. Sandro, thank you for the hookup on the wheels.
Thank you so much, sir.
All we need to do now is go back to the office and show everyone what we've been up to.
Now you gotta say, let's go, Vatos, hop on.
Let's go, Vatos, hop on.
The car's too light, all right?
What do you guys think?
Dude.
You proud of me?
Way to go.
What's up, y'all? I'm Steph, and as y'all know, we went ahead and built this Lowrider Miata. Now we came out with the shirt, but the second part of our collection, aka this hoodie and this sick chain, are all out now. Go ahead and get yours at donamedia.com.
All right, so we finished our Lowrider Miata build. We just want to say thank you to everyone who was involved. Mark and Jacqueline from Color Studios with a K, John for helping with the hydraulics, Sandro helping with the wheels. This was such an awesome build. Thank you for watching the video and everything else here on Donut. If you want to follow Steph, follow her at
Radical_Steph.
Follow me at RussellJimmy.jp. Thank you. Have a good one.